He thought he wasn't good enough for her. Until she told him the truth. He never asked her out because he believed she was the kind of woman a man had to deserve. Her name was Emma. She studied business at the University of Pennsylvania's Wharton School. He was Daniel, a student at the United States Naval Academy in Annapolis. Their world seemed completely different. Daniel had grown up in a modest military family. His father was an enlisted soldier, and his mother worked hard to support the family. They never had much money, but they had taught Daniel discipline and hard work. Emma seemed to belong to another world. She was surrounded by ambitious students who talked about startups, investments, family businesses, and international careers. Daniel noticed the expensive clothes and polished lifestyle. Emma was rich. They met one afternoon when Emma dropped a folder outside a coffee shop. Daniel helped her collect the papers. After that, they started seeing each other around Philadelphia. Sometimes they had coffee. Sometimes they walked through the city after her classes. Emma never cared about his family's money or his old car, and Daniel slowly fell in love with her, but he never told her. Every time he thought about asking her on a date, one thought stopped him. She's out of my league. He imagined Emma's future, a powerful career and a husband who could comfortably fit into her world. Then he thought about his own life, his father's military salary, his family's modest home, the years of sacrifice that had made it possible for him to attend the Naval Academy. Daniel wasn't ashamed of where he came from, but he believed Emma deserved someone who could offer her more, someone wealthy, someone who belonged beside her. So he decided to wait. He would finish the academy, build a career, become successful, and maybe one day he would finally be worthy of someone like Emma. One evening she asked, "Are you free this Saturday? I was thinking we could have dinner," she said. He stared at her. "Just us?" She smiled. "Yes, just us." He couldn't believe it. Emma was asking him on a date. On Saturday, he arrived early in his best shirt and only good jacket. Emma arrived a few minutes later, looking beautiful. They had dinner at a small restaurant and talked for hours, until Emma finally asked, "Why didn't you ever ask me out?" Daniel smiled nervously. "Because I never thought you'd say yes." "Why?" He looked down at his hands. Then he told her the truth. "Because I thought you were too good for me." Emma became quiet. Daniel continued, "I thought girls like you were supposed to be with men who had money, connections, and status." He gave a nervous laugh. "I didn't even let myself imagine dating you." Then he looked into her eyes. "I thought I had to become successful first. Then maybe I'd be good enough for someone like you." Emma stared at him and quietly said, "Daniel, there is something you don't know about me." Daniel waited. Emma looked down at her hands. "My family isn't wealthy." Daniel frowned. "What?" "I'm not from a rich family." He stared at her. "But Wharton, I have a full scholarship. Without it, I could never afford to study at Penn," she continued. "My parents are ordinary people. We struggled financially for years. I worked incredibly hard because that scholarship was my only chance." She smiled. "Everyone sees me at Wharton and assumes I belong there because I look like I belong there." Daniel looked at her. "So all this time, yes, you weren't rich?" She shook her head. "No." "Why didn't you tell me?" "Because you never asked. And because I liked the way you treated me. You never tried to impress me. You never cared about my clothes or my university. You just talked to me. I was afraid that if people knew where I came from, they would see me differently." Daniel understood. He had been doing something similar too. He hadn't hidden his family because he was ashamed. He had hidden his feelings because he was afraid they weren't enough. Emma reached across the table and took his hand. "You thought I was above you?" Daniel smiled. "Yes." She smiled back. "I thought you were above me." He looked at her. "Me? You attend the Naval Academy. You're disciplined. You're ambitious. You know exactly what you want. I thought someone like you would never be interested in a girl who was afraid people would discover she didn't belong." Daniel shook his head. "So we were both wrong. Completely." They laughed. For months, they had been looking at each other through assumptions. He saw an elegant Wharton student surrounded by successful people and assumed she had everything. She saw a confident Naval Academy student and assumed he had never struggled. Neither had seen the truth. They had both come from families that had little. They had both worked hard for opportunities. And they had both secretly wondered whether they were good enough. That was what connected them. Daniel squeezed her hand. I spent months thinking I had to become someone else before I could ask you out. Emma smiled. And I spent months wondering why you never did. I'm sorry. You're forgiven. Then Daniel asked, so what happens now? Emma smiled. Now you stop trying to deserve me. And you? I'll stop hiding where I came from. Daniel looked at her. Maybe we were never from different worlds. Emma smiled. Maybe we were just standing on opposite sides of the same dream. He laughed softly. Can I take you on another date? She smiled. Only if you promise not to spend the next 6 months deciding whether you're worthy of it. I promise. That night, they walked through the city together. There was no rich girl. No poor boy. No Wharton student. No Naval Academy cadet. There were simply two people who had worked hard and spent too much time believing they weren't enough. And that was enough.